All right.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. We have got Randy Wynne in here with us today, and Randy is a recent ambassador for Dēp Slēpwear, and we just want to share what Randy's experience has been and get to know Randy a little bit. So, Randy, thanks for joining us. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and let folks know where you're at right now, who you're playing for, and I'd like to know where you're from too, your hometown.
Yeah. Well, good morning, Glenn. Thanks for having me on. My name is Randy Wynne, like you've been saying. I'm from San Diego, California. I'm 30 years old. I'm a starting pitcher for the Louisville Bats, and that's in the Cincinnati Reds organization. So I'm out here in Louisville, Kentucky, getting ready for another game we got at 6 o'clock tonight.
Oh, nice, nice. All right, I see that you're wearing your hoodie out there. It looks like a beautiful day.
It's gorgeous out here. Yeah, you called me just in time because it's been pretty crummy the last week or so.
Oh, is that a fact?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm happy that the good weather's here. Hopefully it stays all summer.
Yeah,
So yeah,
indeed.
I'm in the Dēp Slēpwear hoodie. Being a minor league baseball player, you end up traveling a ton, and sleep is a tough thing to get when you're traveling so much. And this thing has been invaluable to me as a little cocoon to get me that privacy and to get me that sleep, and to keep the light out of my eyes. A nice eye mask here. So yeah, super stoked on the Dēp Slēpwear hoodie. I've been wearing it even when I'm not traveling.
I love hearing it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you mentioned cocoon, so you're feeling that effect.
Absolutely, yeah. It kind of closes the world out for you, and even in places where that can be hard to do. Growing up, I was a 3 or 4 sport athlete growing up. My parents kind of always had me in soccer, basketball, baseball, football, whatever we could get going. And the attitude was always kind of, you'll sleep when you're dead a little bit, not
Yes,
really a priority to get sleep. Wasn't really talked about or thought of much. It was always more of a priority to, do more work. And as I've gotten older in athletics and specialized a bit, the conversation's totally changed about sleep, at least for me. It's like probably half, if not more, of performance. You got to be able to recover. You can't keep breaking yourself over and over again without recovering and expect to continue to perform well. Especially like in baseball, we have a 6-month season. Over time you'll break. You can't just keep grinding all day. So getting that sleep is really, really valuable to us, especially in minor league baseball.
Is this something that you just kind of felt coming on and decided for yourself that you needed to sleep and recover better, or is it something that the coaches had kind of instilled in you?
It was something that, as I tried to improve my own performance, I had kind of seen on YouTube just discussions of it, certain things, but the real one was when the Reds brought it up. We have a sleep kit that they started giving us, and we have they started giving us Oura rings to try to, I don't know, get us to be more mindful of those sorts of things. And that really kind of opened the door to me thinking about sleep in a different way. We also had a podcast, or not a podcast, a private meeting with the minor leaguers, and Trevor Bauer, who's a former All-Star in the MLB. And he was talking about how he's so far down the sleep rabbit hole that he had been taping his mouth shut so that he could nose breathe to better recover. And so seeing someone at that high level, considering sleep in that way, taking it that seriously, really kind of woke me up to it. And I started taping my mouth shut here and there, and trying to do the nose breathing thing. But so this Dēp Slēpwear, it just fits in perfectly with the direction I was already kind of headed in.
That's great. Is this something like we have a lot of people that buy multiple ones because they never want to be without? Your situation is maybe a little bit different. Everybody's situation is different, but when do you most wear the sleep hoodie?
At night after a game. When I come home after post-game, it's usually 9:30, 10, maybe 10:30 at night. I usually come in, get a little snack, drink some water, and throw the hoodie on. It kind of helps me with the temperature. Like the material is nice and cooling.
Mm,
And I know that getting your body temp to decrease a little helps you get to sleep.
yep.
So for me, it's kind of part of that routine is getting my body to kind of cool down a little bit, and this shirt definitely helps that. So
Nice.
I use it a lot at home. But when we do have a long bus ride, this is it. This is what I'm wearing. And the guys have been starting to ask me about it too a little bit, like, yo, what is that thing? So
Yes. That's great. Give him your code.
yeah, I will.
Yeah, it's fun to, there's a lot of athletes that I speak with, and there are a lot of teams and coaches that I sleep with. And oftentimes the coaches they need a little bit more scientific proof.
Mhm.
And the players are just like, dude, this is helping me. It helps calm me down, and it helps me sleep. I can tell by my aura ring or whatever. And most athletes, all athletes, I'll say, are very in tune with their body. So they know
Mhm.
that they are getting improved rest and recovery. So they don't need to be, they don't need the science. They don't need to see the numbers. They can feel it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And-
that's being a pitcher. I'm very in tune with my body as well. And um, honestly, on a kind of side note, I've had a newborn. We born in October, so she's about 6 months old now. And sleep has not been easy with
yes.
her.
Yeah.
Um, so on days before I know I'm gonna pitch, because the baby sleeps in the room with us, and a lot of nights if I'm not wearing this, I get up as often as the baby does, and mom
Yes.
does. So, like going back to the cocoon, like if you got a newborn and you have something big tomorrow morning, a big meeting or whatever is going on, something at work or something physical you're trying to do,
Hmm.
like throw the cocoon on.
I love it.
It really does help get away from the crying baby in the middle of the night if you really need to dig in and get some sleep one night.
Isn't
Um,
that funny? That's great to hear. Like the mask, we estimate that it cuts out about 10 decibels of sound, which equates to about 50% of all around sound, if that math makes sense. But what I've noticed personally, and you can let me know what your thoughts on this, even cutting out that 10 decibels, it kind of turns everything into white noise. And
yeah,
because you're in your cocoon, you know in your brain that you don't have to pay attention to everything, whether it's horns or sirens or slamming doors or kids crying, and you know that your fiance is there to take care of the baby. You can kind of stay asleep, hopefully,
yeah,
whether it's
yeah.
light or deep at that point. But is that the kind of the same thing that you've been experiencing with the baby so close by?
Yeah, totally. It turns like things that would definitely jar you awake into like muffled backgrounds, like a TV on in the other room or something. It doesn't get your attention when you got
Yeah.
this on. I think that definitely would have had you not been wearing it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah, it's funny. That's a pretty consistent thing among all deep sleep wearers, deep sleepers as we call them. Is that it's easier to fall asleep, it's easier to stay asleep, and I think that's because of what we just talked about. And it's easier to get uh, more sleep duration if you are able. So those three things are really incredibly powerful when it comes to recovery, and especially I don't know if you've experienced this or not, but we see that, like according to the auras and the whoops and other sleep trackers, that the deep sleep count or score is always improved, and for athletes especially, that is incredibly important because that is the stage of sleep that repairs the muscles and builds muscles. It does a lot of other cool things like stores memories and such. But that especially, I think, along with hydrating and whatever other therapies that you do, can really make you feel better and ready to go the next day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm someone that used to drink a lot of coffee in the morning. Like
Yep.
I needed it. It felt like I needed it, right? Um, I've been in the process of kind of filtering that out, and trying to get myself to not need it to get
Yep.
going so much. I guess I don't like the idea of needing
Yes.
coffee. So
Hear you.
um, I've noticed that like the more I kind of mix this in, I just like I can get up and I don't feel crummy. It must be the deeper sleep for longer or the more restful sleep because
Mhm.
um, like I wake up and I'm just up. Does that make sense? Like it's not like I
Yeah.
wake up and I'm like ready to snooze, like hit the
Right.
snooze button or kind of like drag butt or just lay in bed for a while. Like I'm up and I'm moving around and I feel good. I'm awake like quickly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's got to
which
be. It's got to be due to more efficient sleep. Like the sleep
yeah,
doctors and coaches will tell you that it's not always about sleep duration, although most of the research will tell you that you really need between 7 and 9 hours. It's ideal. Everybody's different.
mm,
But more importantly, it's the quality of sleep. So if you get 9 hours of crappy sleep, it's not going to help you. 7 hours of quality sleep is better. And that probably has something to do with, in your case, the sleep hoodie helping out. And the other
okay,
thing that's important, I don't know if this is a practice that you're following, but um, it's important to hydrate first thing in the morning, and coffee does the opposite.
okay,
So if you down 12 ounces of water as soon as you wake up, even with a little salt in there or
mm.
electrolyte water,
Yeah, something like a
because
lemon.
yep, excellent. Um, and we can lose up to a liter of water just as we're sleeping. So all the
Okay.
more reason to just the first thing before anything, especially before coffee, down
Yeah.
water, and that's a sound practice for us every morning.
Right.
Um,
Instead of sending you into a deficit with the coffee right away, give
yeah,
yourself a chance with the
exactly.
water.
Yeah, there's the doctor that endorses Deep Sleepwear, Dr. Michael Bruce. He's got a great book called The Power of Timing. I'm not sure I have that title right, but it's about when
Mm,
to do everything.
I
And
see.
he says coffee, you should wait for about 90 minutes
Mm,
from when you wake up till your first cup of coffee, because
yeah.
you'll
So it sounds
just,
like don't use it to wake up. Period. Then
yeah,
you're not awake within an hour and a half.
it'll disrupt everything that your body is trying to do to wake up.
Right.
And so that
That's
90 minutes,
interesting.
you know how difficult that can be to wait for your first cup of coffee, but
Yeah.
it's discipline. The
Yeah.
Power of When is the title. It's that
The power.
discipline, and as an athlete, you know all about discipline. That
No
will
doubt.
really pay off. That will really pay off for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me, and it'll probably just help me sleep even better now.
Yeah, and there's no silver bullet either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
I've tried a bunch of them.
you got a bunch of them. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And the sleep hoodie is a great thing to have into the mix. It works for most people. The nice thing is, and the sports scientists will say, yeah, the science isn't going to matter if the guys think it is going to be or it is beneficial to them. And more importantly, where they used to rely on supplements and even sleeping pills, that was kind of a dirty little secret.
Yeah.
There's no side effect to the sleep hoodie.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Well,
you don't have to ingest anything. It's got so many benefits to it, and you're wearing
yeah.
it now just because it's comfortable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Just hanging out. I mean, it's a sunny day. I'm in long sleeves, but I don't feel hot.
yeah,
It's that's what I like about it. It's just comfy. Like,
yeah,
and when you're comfortable, you sleep easier. So
that's it.
I don't know.
Yeah, a big part of sleep is being comfortable, and all too often. I mean, are you in a hotel or where are you guys staying?
I've got an apartment here, but it's in downtown, so I'm on my balcony. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, so it's not home per se,
no,
and you know, uh, just being in that cocoon kind of levels the playing fields. Like when you're home, you have control over your sleep environment, but still, you never have full control. It's either it's too light, or it's noisy, or the temperature is not fully under your control. So this levels the playing field. It gives you the darkness, gives you some quiet by muffling the sound, and it gives you, like you had mentioned a number of times, and I love to hear it, the body temperature control. So you'll get those wherever you are, even on a bus.
Totally. Yeah, that's the cocoon. You know, it's all those things just in one little package. Like you said, there's no side effect. There's nothing bad to it. Because even like talk about the Aura Ring, that was something that they had passed out, and I was pretty excited at first because I thought, oh, more information got to be a good thing, you know. And so then I started waking up going, oh man, I feel good, and I look at my Aura numbers, and I'd be like, oh, I guess I don't. You know, apparently I didn't sleep that well. Apparently I'm not recovered, and I feel terrible. So like it kind of messed with my head a little bit. I go out there feeling like, how am I supposed to feel about this? You know, and so I stopped wearing it a little bit for that reason, just because I didn't want to take my good mental that I woke up with and turn it into something else with numbers. So
isn't that funny?
I started to learn to just go off of my own feel. But this, I mean, always feel good. So, you know.
That's great. It's funny, as you know, all the sleep trackers are ever improving, right? There's discrepancy in their numbers from brand to brand, and there's the accuracy is questioned here and there, especially if you compare it to a polysomnographic test.
We even have guys that are comparing products, like guys that'll wear Whoop and Aura, and it'll come up with different stuff. You know, so
exactly.
Right.
So the best
so
you
what
can
do you
do,
really go off of?
I think you go off on consistency. You know,
and I mean, the numbers, they give you an idea. It's a good thing to use to give yourself a clue if you're looking for one. But
if you can establish some consistency, a baseline, if you will, and then you can compare like with or without the hoodie.
And it helped me make small adjustments here and there, and in how I was preparing to sleep and stuff too. You know, like if I notice, oh, when I do this, better numbers. When I do that, worse numbers. But yeah, for me, I think it was just enough seeing that it wasn't doing well when I felt good. So that was enough for me to not like it. But but this thing, no bad numbers here. It's just helping. There's nothing messing with me mentally. You know, it's all just, like I said, I keep saying it, but the cocoon, that's how I treat it. It just feels like when I put it on and I got the eye mask on and the hood up, like no one can get at me. I'm just in there.
Right. You're in your own space. A cocoon is a nice place to be. And with all the craziness that's going on in the world and in our lives, it's just nice to escape. And this certainly helps. Well, I know you're busy. I want you to start getting ready for your game tonight. Will you take a pregame nap?
Today, no. I have a long lift today, but we actually got a coach that came in. It was one of our mental skills coaches, and she was in a little extra room in the budget. And so a couple of us spoke up and were like, we could get some nap cots in the clubhouse. Just placed in random spots. Yeah, so we're getting some new cots for napping in our clubhouse. So it's funny you bring that up. But so they're not here yet, but soon enough I'll definitely be taking pregame naps.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, seriously, I mean, if the guys are asking, and if the team is committing to sleep to that extent, then a cot is one thing, but a hoodie and a cot, that's a powerful combo. So I look forward to.
I plan on being on that thing with this and making the guys jealous.
Yeah. Share for sure. And you know, lastly, Randy, your fiance could probably benefit from one of these too. I mean, I can't imagine.
She probably needs it more than me in a very real way.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that too. All right. Well, I will let you go and prepare. I wish you luck today and moving forward. Great that we were able to have this talk, and for your fans, and we'll get this up on your social channels. Your discount code is Deep Sleep Randy. That's DEP SLEEP Randy RANDY for 15% off And the more we get into this program, the more people that will be able to help, and we'll save them a few bucks along the way.
That's awesome, Glenn. Thank you so much for everything.
Yeah.
And thanks for
Thank
making
you.
this thing. I appreciate you.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Have a great game tonight.
Thank you, you too.
All right. See you, kid.